Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. In the local scene, National Heritage Month 2025, a celebration of Filipino culture, heritage, and community spirit, came to a memorable close with the participation of numerous stakeholders under the theme Preserving Legacies, Building Futures, Empowering Communities Through Heritage. Department of Tourism 5 Regional Director Irby Aguas, along with representatives from the United Nations Association of the Philippines, the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, and notable agencies and local artists attended the closing ceremony held at Hotel Elise in Legazpi City. May is National Heritage Month, a time for Filipinos to celebrate their nation's cultural heritage and acknowledge their shared responsibility to preserve it for future generations. Initiated by Presidential Proclamation No. 439 in 2003, National Heritage Month promotes awareness and support for cultural heritage protection. The 2025 National Heritage Month aims to preserve Filipino heritage, strengthen communities, and celebrate identities through the preservation of arts, historic structures, and the digitization of cultural records. The recently conducted Albay Grand Santa Cruzan procession, featuring 27 Sagala, highlights the Philippines' rich cultural and religious traditions which are essential to National Heritage Month. Meanwhile, artists from Bicol were honored for their dedication to preserving the country's cultural heritage as they showcased their skills and vibrant performances at the closing ceremony. In other story, the officials of the provincial government of Albay are actively implementing measures to address the worsening traffic congestion along the stretch of Morera area of Ginubatan and its surrounding neighborhoods. According to Albay Governor Baby Glenda Ongbungao, the roads in the region are essential for the commuter travel and play a vital role in the efficient transport of necessary goods into the province and other areas in the region. In light of this, officials have conducted several meetings to identify the root causes of the congestion and to explore both immediate and long-term strategies to alleviate its impact. Albay Provincial Safety and Emergency Management Office Officer in Charge, Engineer Dante Baclao, and Traffic Section Head Roderick Mendoza are leading this initiative, collaborating with various agencies and concerned officials to develop and implement effective solutions. One key proposal from the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council is a truck ban from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., with a start date to be announced later, while officials work on identifying alternate routes to improve overall traffic flow. Additional efforts include a commitment from the PDR-RMC, Provincial Engineers Office, APSEMO, Albay Electric Cooperative Incorporated, Department of Public Works and Highways, Albay 3rd District, and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Central Ginubatan, to support road reblocking and widening in the impacted Morera area. In the national scene, the government plans to expand the Kadiwa ng Bagong Bayaning Mangingisda program to provide better opportunities for Filipino fishermen in the West Philippine Sea, according to Philippine Coast Guard. PCG spokesman for West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela, said the government would ensure that the conditions and livelihoods of fishermen improve. The government launched the KBBM program in Palawan province after a successful pilot run at the Panatag Shoal of Zambales province on May 9. It also noted that the KBBM program streamlines the selling process by deploying a fish carrier to deliver the fishermen's fresh catch from the sea to market. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources is set to launch a food boat with a carrying capacity of 20 metric tons each week, which will provide logistic support and direct market linkage to West Philippine Sea fishermen. The initiative aims to give fishermen security in their traditional fishing grounds and strengthen the country's presence in the West Philippine Sea amid China's incursions into the country's territorial waters. The KBBM will be implemented in 3 phases until 2027, with the first phase covering the Kalayaan group of islands. In other story, progressive groups will hold a series of protests to urge the Senate to convene as an impeachment court and promptly proceed with the trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. The mass movement followed the senators' plan to dismiss outright articles of impeachment filed by the House of Representatives against the second-highest leader. Akbayan Party List, the civil society coalition Tindig Pilipinas, student and youth groups and members of various organizations are set to gather at the Senate building in Pasay. In Pasay City to demand compliance with its constitutional duty and to start the impeachment trial without further delay. Over 100 faculty members from the University of the Philippines College of Law signed an open letter to the senators strongly urging them to move forward with Duterte's impeachment. Duterte, impeached by the House of Representatives on February 5, faces accusations of graft and corruption, bribery, betrayal of public trust, culpable violation of the Constitution, and high crimes. In other news, the Department of Migrant Workers is seeking a significant increase in funding and the establishment of a centralized service hub to streamline support for overseas Filipino workers reintegration. Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Kakdak stated that DMW is aiming for a 200% increase in the budget of the National Reintegration Center for OFWs, which is approximately 250 million pesos in the forthcoming National Expenditure Program. According to Kakdak, reintegration refers to the permanent return of overseas Filipino workers to the Philippines, where they choose to stay for good while continuing to support their families and contribute to the national economy through local employment. The proposed increase coincides with the establishment of the National Reintegration Network, a multi-agency initiative designed to consolidate government services under one roof. Additionally, the DMW signed an agreement with the Commission on Human Rights to implement programs benefiting OFWs, including human rights education, mobile legal clinics, expedited responses to abuse cases, joint investigations, and inclusive policy consultations. And in the news outside the country, Hamas's chief negotiator stated that the group is prepared to engage in a new round of discussions aimed at achieving a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. Negotiator Khalil al-Hayya made this announcement during a speech that marks the beginning of Eid al-Adha celebrations. Efforts to broker a new ceasefire have not led to any breakthroughs since the last brief truce collapsed in March, coinciding with the revival of Israeli operations in Gaza. Israel and Hamas aimed to close to an agreement last month, but a deal remained elusive, with both sides accusing each other of undermining a United States-backed proposal. The Israeli military has recently intensified its campaign in what it claims is a renewed effort to defeat Hamas whose October 2023 attack triggered the war. International calls for a negotiated ceasefire have increased in recent weeks, especially as the humanitarian crisis in the devastated Palestinian territory has deteriorated. And finally, in the news outside the country, South Korea's new president, Lee Jae-myung, vowed to reach out to the nuclear-armed North and heal wounds as he took office after winning snap elections. The new center-left leader also warned that rising protectionism and supply chain restructuring posed an existential threat to Asia's export-dependent fourth-largest economy, which has been buffeted by the global trade chaos sparked by United States President Donald Trump. Lee spoke with South Korea's top military commander and formally assumed operational control of the country's armed forces, urging them to maintain readiness in case of provocations from Pyongyang, but he stated that the country was ready to talk. And that's all for the news at 12, June 9, 2025. We'll be back tomorrow for more news updates. Thanks to our news writer LJ Lorejo and Erica Dumlao. And on the technical side, Chad Bobis. Of course, our Provincial Information Officer, Mary Luduga Castillo. And under the supervision of our Governor, Baby Glenda Bungao. I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing.